Hey gang, this is Mike with my Real Estate Dojo, and today's lesson is about comparing gold versus Bitcoin. You heard me right, gold versus Bitcoin. And the reason is that I'm actually doing a video about Bitcoins and actually start studying Bitcoin is because Bitcoin has just recently superseded or surpassed gold. As I speak today, an ounce of gold is worth about $100 less than a Bitcoin. So Bitcoin at this current time is worth more money than an ounce of gold, which is pretty amazing. So I've been studying Bitcoins for a couple of weeks every day, and so I want to do a quick comparison because I understand gold pretty good now. And I'm a professional real estate investor. I'm a refugee to America. If you guys already know, I came to America after college, lived in my car with $100 and started multiple businesses and then buying real estate using creative strategies where I don't use my own money or my own credit, turning these suckers into rental properties, waiting 6, 7 years, and then selling each property about making $100,000 off each property from equity cash outs plus monthly cash flow. So I'm not a rookie to this game, and by studying Bitcoins, I want to go ahead and share with you guys what I've discovered between gold and Bitcoin. So let me pull the curtains back and get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is, all right, that gold is not fiat. Gold is a hard, tangible asset that you can actually touch, store, feel, etc. Okay, versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a fiat. What I mean by that is a fiat currency. There's not no tangible items that is backed with like gas or gold or real estate or land or anything like that. It's just an idea, okay? It's just like the US currency is fiat, okay? So that's one of the major differences between gold versus Bitcoin is that gold is a hard tangible asset and Bitcoin is fiat. Now, if we're going to do a comparison between the history, Bitcoin is a very, very, very new currency. It had just recently came up. It hasn't even been 10 years, okay? Now, if you compare it to gold, you can see from the beginning of civilization almost that we've been using gold. For example, the Persian Empire, Greek Empire, Rome, etc. They all had gold and silver. So the history of gold and silver being used for a true money, dates from the beginning of time almost. Okay, well, cryptocurrency, for example, Bitcoin, it's just a new baby. Okay, so if you compare those two, you can see one has significance allegiance, the other one is new. Okay, now the other point I wanted to do is the difference between a hard asset and a soft asset, and I kind of did that when I talked about it being tangible, okay? Gold is a hard asset. It's kind of like a real estate, like it's a hard asset, where cryptocurrency is what's called a soft asset. A soft asset, for example, like mutual funds, stocks, Bitcoins, because these things you can't just, put it into your pocket or put it into your safe or, dig a place for it or anything like that, okay? It's just ideas. So that's why it's called soft versus hard, all right? Now, let's go to the next point, which brought me a lot of interest into gold, and then it led me into the path of Bitcoins, which is called inflation. Now, gold is inflation proof because there's only a certain amount of natural resources on the planet, okay? We can't go out and print more gold like we can do with the US currency or with the China currency or with the Iran currency or the Russian currency, etc., okay? Now, the same exact thing is with Bitcoins. With Bitcoins, there's this, when the developer developed it, there's a certain amount of Bitcoins that's going to be released. After that, that's it, which basically doesn't allow inflation. Now, inflation is a very, very big part, and that's what got me into gold and now into the path of Bitcoins is because I've done videos before. Inflation is where you lose purchasing power, okay, over time. one example that I always make on my videos is, for example, if you work 40 hours and you make $100 and you buy 4 items in 2017, next year, 2018, you work your exact 40 hours, you still make your $100, but now the cost of product and services has gone up. Therefore, you could only purchase 3 items versus 4 items. So as you can see, the next year, your purchasing power decreases when an item is has inflation associated with it. That's why, for example, back in the 30s, you could buy a house for maybe like $10,000, $7,000, $23,000. The same house today, for example, if it was in California, it may be $500 or $1 million. So that's inflation, because the same dollar does not purchase the same products anymore. Back in the days with 10 cents, you could buy a lot of stuff. Today with $10, you can even buy the same amount of items. Okay, so that's called inflation. And gold and Bitcoins both are inflation proof, because they both have systems locked in them for not to be able to produce more and more and more. Okay, like we do with the US dollars, and that's why the petrodollar is in trouble, because we're printing out so much fiat US currency. Okay, let me get some water real quick. All right, let's go to the next point. The next point is that gold and Bitcoins both are accepted worldwide. Okay, what do I mean by that? For example, my dad's a refugee. He had to escape Iran because he's not Muslim. He had to get up overnight and come to America. And what he did is he, turned his currency in Iran into gold. And then when he came to America, he turned his gold into US dollars. So that's a great example of how gold is accepted in US, in Iran, like a third world country, in Africa, in China, everywhere you go. Everybody knows what gold is. You don't have to sit there and explain to them like, hey, this is blah, blah, blah. Same thing with Bitcoins. But with Bitcoins, it is accepted worldwide. But one little niche is that some people don't know what Bitcoin is. Even like, for example, a sophisticated individual like myself, I didn't know what Bitcoin was a few months ago. So I started studying gold and then came to Bitcoins because of inflation ideas. So that said, Bitcoins is still accepted worldwide. For example, you can go online and trade some guy in China Bitcoins, and without taking US dollars, getting Chinese currency, and then giving that service provider your money. Where with Bitcoins, you could just instantly pay somebody in China, somebody in India that accepts Bitcoins, and it's fast, low fees, and it's worldwide accepted. So that is the similarities with gold and Bitcoins being accepted all over the world. But one of the difference of Bitcoin is not that many people know about it as in today. Okay? All right, let's go to the next idea. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. Let's talk about, for example, the risk factors. Okay? The risk factors of Bitcoin is that, like I said, it's fiat, and you don't have anything. So, which brings me to point number 2, which is like, for example, if the electricity gets shut off all over the world, then there goes, wipes out Bitcoins. Or if there is internet shutdown, wipes out Bitcoin. So you have those type of risk, okay? Where with gold, it's a tangible item. You have it in your pocket, or you have it in your car, or you have it in your safe, or you have it in some land, or some bank, or whatever you have it at. It's right there. So it's, so you're a little bit safer than that. But on the other hand, gold, for example, you can lose it, you can get robbed, or you can forget where you put it, etc. And the same thing can happen with Bitcoins, because since with Bitcoins, you're like your own banker. You can forget your password or, whatever, and lose your money, and you can't go to a bank and say, hey, well, I just lost 10 grand. Can I get my money back? Because there is no bank. You're your own bank. So those are the kind of risks between gold versus Bitcoin, guys. All right, let's talk about, how to carry. For example, how do you carry Bitcoins versus gold? Well, with Bitcoins, you carry it on your computer or on your cell phone, or you could just remember, your passwords and things of that nature. So, it's not that hard. It's because it's a soft asset, and so you just carry it on your cell phone. Where with gold, like for example, if you want to fucking carry it, then you would have to carry it in your pocket or in your bag or in your car, and it's big and heavy, depends on how much you have. So as you can see, Bitcoin's carrying wise is much easier than gold. Okay. The other thing that brings me up too is, for example, trading. If you want to trade gold versus Bitcoin, I think it's a lot easier to trade with Bitcoins, even though less people know about it, because you could break Bitcoins down to like pennies or whatever. Where gold, if you have an ounce of gold, it's kind of hard to take a knife and just shiver it off for your purchase, and it's hard to determine how much is this item worth versus your gold, like how much you took it off. So with Bitcoin, it's pretty easy. So you want to send 0.01 and then send, where gold is not like that, okay? So that's another comparison. Give me a second, guys, and get some water real quick. All right, guys, the thing I like about, gold and Bitcoin, this is one thing they have in similarity, which is what makes me very attracted to it, is that gold is like a natural resources. So there's only a certain amount out there. And same thing with Bitcoins. There's going to only be a certain amount produced by the software, and that's it. Okay, which that means is it's not going to allow inflation to happen. Which means is the prices of your goods, your rent, your houses, or cars, and it's not going to go up just because of the inflation. Cost is not going to constantly go up. And the other thing that I really love about this, because there's a limited amount of resources, is about Mother Earth. For example, in the monetary system that we have today, the corporations are constantly producing newer gadgets or holding back on the newest upgrades. For example, 2007 Nissan and 2008 Nissan are only going to have small, minute differences. It's not even really like worth buying. But because of the corporations wanting to make more money, they're coming out with all these new updates and upgrades every year, which means that we're constantly digging into our natural resources, the planet Earth that we live on, and constantly cutting down the trees, digging the silver, using it for computers, and we're just robbing the natural resources because we're able to exchange that for paper money that we print. And that paper money does not have a limit on it because we have an unlimited amount of printing press, okay? Where Earth's natural resources, for example, the water, how much we can abuse it, or how much trees we can dig, or how much farming we can do, or etc., how much pollution we get, there's only a certain amount that the Earth has. So by having a system that we could have unlimited amount of money to purchase an infinite amount of infinite, so there's only a certain amount of products or services on Earth, it just doesn't make sense because at one point we're going to just run after the natural resources of the planet, and because of our monetary system, okay? Where while we use the system, for example, gold or Bitcoin, it kind of eliminates that because now manufacturers have to come up with, hopefully, instead of coming up with a car every year, maybe if it's time for upgrade, you just replace on your car a module or one part of the car. You don't have to trade your whole tires and frame, and because they got a faster, efficient way to save gas, for example. So you just exchange one thing. Same thing with your phone. For example, every time iPhone comes with iPhone 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you would just take your iPhone in and they just remove those couple of chips that needs to be replaced. That way, we're not just fucking ramming off the fucking resources of the planet for the sake of the corporations to make money left and right. So this is a very, very, very enticing feature of gold and Bitcoins, and that's why it attracts me to it versus fiat currency like the US dollar, okay, or the Russian money or whatever, okay? Because all those are on the assumption that we have unlimited amount of resources. We can just keep printing, keep coming with new products every year, keep destroying our fucking resources and using them up, and then keep taking all that stuff and putting it in the landfill with trash after trash because we have new cars, new phones, new laptops, etc., the newest gadget coming out. So this is one of the powerful things about gold and Bitcoin that really attracts me to it because there's a limited amount of resources, which decreases inflation, decreases cost of products and services, but more importantly, it doesn't rob and rapes the fucking planet Earth's resources, because the planet only has so many trees, and then it only has so many grounds and so much ocean we can pollute, okay, before it dies and has cancer, per se. All right, let me get off the subject and go to the next point, okay, guys? The next point is that what I like about gold and Bitcoins versus, let's say, fiat currency like US dollars or yen or whatever, is that, excuse me, is that gold and Bitcoins have a thing called mining. And what that means is that for us to go find gold, let's say, we have to spend money on hard asset, on tangible things like gas, other commodities, labor, trucks, tools to get this gold, which gives it a lot of value, okay? And that's because it costs money to get it. Where, for example, when we print money, when the Federal Reserve prints money in their little machine, it really doesn't cost anything besides the paper and the ink, okay? So it's very little, all right? Where with gold, you have to actually go mine the sucker. You have to get the equipment, the land, etc., okay? Now, the same thing happens with Bitcoins. Bitcoins is exactly the same way, guys. If I have a video where I talked about 4 ways to get Bitcoins. And one of the ways to ascertain Bitcoins is to do exactly the same thing as gold miners do. You're mining for gold. But instead of mining for gold, you're mining for Bitcoins. And the way that works is you basically get servers and you get, fast internet, and, you're basically solving mathematical problems. And if you can solve it faster than anybody else, and you're going to get the Bitcoin price that's released every hour, 10 Bitcoins, you're going to get some of that. If you happen to solve all of it, you get all of it. If you happen to solve it in a pool, then you get a fraction of which you contribute into it. So just like gold that requires hard assets to ascertain gold from underneath the ground, same thing with Bitcoins. You need hard assets, servers, data centers, etc., to mine for this, Bitcoin, which allows Bitcoin and gold to have value and not just be like artificially made, or just, if that makes any sense, guys. So that is one of the similarities they both have, that they're both mining. You have to mine for them. It's not just freely printed, okay? All right, guys, my next point, which I've already touched a little bit, is that Bitcoins and gold, they're all worth money, okay? Where people around the world are willing to trade for them. And at this current time, Bitcoin has surpassed the price of an ounce of gold, which is, I guess, great news, or bad news, depends who you are in this game of the monetary control. If you're the Federal Reserve, then this is a bad news for you. If you're the people and you're tired of the hidden taxes, and you're tired of, for example, I bought a discount tire last year. This year I bought the same exact tire as $15 more. If you're tired of fucking prices going up, if you're tired of, your purchasing power, then, this is good. This is a good idea. Okay. The bad points about Bitcoins, like I've already talked about, is that it's fiat. And some of the things that I don't like about it is that, hey, it's fiat, dude. 2, it's not like cash where everybody's accepted it, right? 3, like not everybody knows about it. Like I didn't know about it just, a couple of months ago. I heard about it, but I didn't want to fuck with it. But now I'm becoming more of a believer the more research I do on it. So I'm definitely going to invest in it when it crashes. But with my own cash, but I already came up with a way to become a Bitcoin millionaire. If you want to listen to that video, it's on my YouTube channel, where I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to exactly do to get free Bitcoins without risking my own money, or without risking tangible assets, to ascertain those Bitcoins. And I share my secret with you on that video, how to become a Bitcoin millionaire without risking your own money, guys. So simply put, gold and Bitcoins are neck to neck. They're both stronger than the US dollar or any other currency out there right now. And there's advantage and disadvantage with both. But these look like decent investment tools that I want to look into, and by my research that I've done, I already invested in gold, and now I'm working on my becoming a Bitcoin millionaire with my creative idea to get free Bitcoins without risking my money. And then I'm going to be watching the Bitcoin stocks when the market crashes, which I hope that it does, so I can buy Bitcoins at a lot cheaper price, because right now it's almost like 1,300 plus. But if it does go down to like 200 or 400 or 600 or even 900, I will definitely jump on board and get some Bitcoins with cash while I work my other plan to get Bitcoins for free without risking my money. Well, guys, if you like these videos, all I'm asking you is to basically like my video. If you got any friends and family, please share my videos with them, and and leave a comment. Guys, go out there and hustle and bustle. Don't take no for an answer. Remember, you live in the best country ever, man. Millions of people wish they were here, and you're already here, guys. You're already here. You speak English, and you know left and right, and you have all these advantages. All you got to do is just turn that fucking TV off, take massive action, and I'm sure you don't know what to do, or you're confused and you're lost. That's why you're seeking out information. But my main thing is, when you seek out information, you got to take massive action, because even if you don't know what to do, action itself will help you resolve your cloud into clarity. Hustle and bustle, don't take no for an answer. Please tell your friends and family about me. See you later, gang.